Hey everybody, this is Julie, the main stamper. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I'm back with another video in my series called Mondays Are Hard, Stamping Shouldn't Be. This video series, we are always exploring fabulous cards, and these cards have to have the requirements as follows. Minimal supplies, minimal efforts, great results. So today's Monday card is this card right here, and we are making this card with the Lovely You stamp set. So this is a new stamp set in the annual catalog for Stampin' Up! Lovely You has lots of great and very lovely sentiments. It's also got lots of teeny tiny stamps, and teeny tinies are sometimes super hard to work with. And we're doing this easy today. We're not doing hard. So we're going to incorporate these little tiny stamps into our card. Now the Lovely You stamp set does come with this fantastic Lovely Labels Pick a Punch, and it comes as a bundle. So this punch right here, you can see has two different sides to it. So it's got two different toppers. It's got 3 channels for each side. So you can make 6 different size labels with one punch, which is really cool. But our Monday cards are always very simple. A stamp set. We're not having any extra tools to work with. We're doing minimal supplies. With our stamp set, we always have 2 colors of ink, and I've got Rich Razzleberry and Shaded Spruce for our colors today. And with our minimal supplies, we also do 2 colors of cardstock, and I've got Rich Razzleberry and Whisper White. So 1 stamp set, 2 colors of ink, 2 colors of cardstock, 1 fantastic card. Now this always goes together super fast, so it doesn't take long for me to stamp this and assemble. And I'm going to show you how next, so follow me and let's get stamping. Okay, so as always to get started, we take our half sheet of cardstock and we fold it in half. And I use my bone folder and get this nice burnished crease on one end, and then I invert the card base, flip it around, and go ahead and burnish again using my bone folder, and that gives me a nice crisp inner crease. So that is our card base. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're actually going to start by working on these 4 little strips. They are 3/4 inch wide by 5 inches long, and we have 4 of them. So this is a great technique to use if you have a lot of scraps as well and small stamps. So we're going to start with the green. We're going to start with the Shaded Spruce ink, and we are going to take our leaf stamp. So this is the leaf stamp, or one of them. There's several leaf stamps in this stamp set, and we're just going to stamp this. I'm going to hold this down because it might jump up about 4 times up through the top, and I'm just kind of rotating it a little bit each time that I go. So there's my my leaves, and that's one of the layers on this card. And then I'm going to bring in the stamp that says always. I love to use sentiments in different ways on my card fronts. So this always is not going to fit all the way across the length. This is a 3/4 inch wide. So I'm just kind of varying where the words are, the letters are landing, getting some that say, you know, the beginning of the word, some that say the end, some that say the middle. So just some random stamping here as well. And here are the 2 layering strips that we have in green for this card. And I'm going to use the other 2 3/4 inch strips with some Rich Razzleberry. So we're getting a pattern of green, this dark razzleberry, and then green. So for this one, I have this larger floral stamp, and I say larger, these are still tiny, they're tiny stamps. And I'm just going to start at the bottom again. They will go off a little bit, and I think I'm going to get about 4 of them on here if I'm strategic. Some of these will get covered up in our final process, but there's 4 of those in Rich Razzleberry. I've got 1 layering strip left, and I'm going to bring in the smaller of the smaller floral stamps, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I like to start at the bottom and work my way up, and sometimes I am just inverting the direction of the stamp itself. So there I've got 5 of those on there. So these are my 4 layering strips. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in, I'm going to let this dry a little bit before we put it on the card today. I'm going to bring in this this piece of Whisper White paper, and this is going to be on our card, this paper right here, with this leafy sprig. So now this leafy sprig is, again, it's a smaller stamp. We're going to bring in the Shaded Spruce ink, And this time I'm going to stamp one going this way, and then I'm going to flip my paper around, rotate my paper, and I'm going to stamp another one. And I'm going to just try to line up the ends, but keep in mind that we're covering the middle. So it's not too big of a deal, the middle part of it. You just kind of want to get it centered top and bottom. So now we've got two of them, top and bottom, on this paper. And that was with the shaded spruce. Now I'm going to bring in my sentiment piece. This stamp set has a ton of different sentiments. I chose the one that says miles apart but still in my heart. And this is going to go on the rich raspberry in the ink. And I'm going to keep it farther toward the right facing on my card because I am going to do a little bit of fussy cutting to get a little bit of interest added into this card. So here's my sentiment, and for the last bit of stamping for the outside, I'm going to bring in just a scrap of paper, and I'm going to bring in again this larger of the flowers in the rich raspberry ink. I just want to get the top of this, so I'm just stamping the top. This is going to get fussy cut out, and I'm going to bring in the shaded spruce with the leaf. And I'm going to go ahead and get this full image on a scrap of paper. So these ones I ended up fussy cutting, and it didn't take a grand amount of time. I mean, it took a little bit of time, but I did fussy cut these two pieces out for my card, and I'm not going to make you watch me fussy cut, but keep in mind that we're going to use the flower, this little flower, over top of the greens on our card. So the middle part isn't the important part to fussy cut. The important part to fussy cut is just the outer leaves and a little bit of the stem. So I fussy cut these out using my scissors, and I've got these all set. So I've got everything here that I need to assemble my card. So I'm going to set my ink aside and bring in the first layering piece. Now we have a card base. This is our card base, which we folded earlier. And we have the exact same color rich raspberry, 4 by 5 1/4 inch paper. It kind of disappears on the base itself, but this is a great way to layer all of these strips without having to try to get them lined up on the card base. So I'm going to just move some of these over. And on my card, I started with the darker green leaf first, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive on here and put this onto my separate layering piece. I started with the left hand side and centered it kind of top and bottom, and then I started with the next strip here with the larger of the flowers, and I put these ones on next. And again, you can try to just line them up a little bit, give them a little bit of room in between. Then I grabbed the one that says always, and I put this one on. This one was the third one to go on, again leaving a little bit of room, kind of lining them up. And the last one that went on was the smallest of the flowers. So that one went on right here. Now, there is lots of room on here. You can certainly dry fit this before you start putting them on as well. But you could layer these and get more of a symmetrical and fill up the entire 4 inches here if you wanted to. I wanted to leave a little bit of just plain cardstock here on the end. So this is just our 4-inch piece right here. Super simple. We've got that. And this is our card base. So we can go ahead and put this on our card base now. So this goes on the front of here, and we're just going to lay this on. And I'm going to flip it over and rub it from the back. Make sure my adhesive is all secured on there without rubbing all over the stamped images. So this is the beginning of our card. Now this would be great with any colors and any small stamps as well. Now this is the piece that we stamped earlier. We did the 2 stamping images with that 1 leafy sprig, top and bottom. So this just gets layered on here, and then this is going to go on our card front as well. So again, some adhesive, and you can play with this and see where you want it to go, depending on where your words might be, what you want to cover up for flowers and leaves. Any of these things really can be changed around on the card. I like to try to see at least most of each part of the lettering of the word, so that if someone's trying to read it, they can make out that this does say always. Now I'm going to adhere together my sentiment and another piece of rich raspberry. And this is going to go on the card. However, I've already got lots of layers going on because I love to add lots of layers when I'm making my cards. I'm just trying to get that straightened up. So if I could put this on here, and it kind of bows a little bit in the middle here because I've got a lot of layers. I've got a white layer, and I've got rich raspberry, another white layer. So I've got a lot going on. So I'm going to create some false back for this side of my cardstock where it lays really, really low on the card. So I'm going to bring in just a scrap of rich raspberry, and I'm going to create just 2 bump ups. I'm going to call these bump ups. They're kind of like dimensionals, but not. So I need them on this part of my sentiment piece. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive, put one on, and this is going to just give me a little bit of ease in layering this on my card. Now see these little tiny bump ups, which you probably can't see very well because it's the same color on the same color. These 2 bumps right here, when I put this on my card front right now, it doesn't give me that wobble in the middle because I've just added some extra paper underneath here. So now I'm going to, when I attach it, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive in 2 spots that I know it's going to hit here and here on my card. And I'm going to center this on and just go ahead and make sure that the adhesive is sticking here and here on my card front. And I didn't need to attach it anywhere else, just in those 2 spots. I tried to cover the middle of my green sprigs, and this 4-inch piece of rich raspberry is the same size as the 4-inch layering piece of raspberry that we put on previously. So they all line up super nicely together. And then I'm going to bring in my little cutouts. So my little leaf that's cut out is just, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive on here. Glue dots would work really well as well. So I'm just going to put that here on my card, and that kind of covers up the extra room that I had, and it also just carries through this beautiful raspberry and green layering process that we've got going on. And I'm just putting this over top, so nothing fancy. There's nothing that on this card that is going to be difficult to mail. There's nothing sticking up. So this is the outside of our card, and we are now going to do the inside of our card. And I've got a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch cardstock for the inside. So when I do a dark card base, I like to do a white insert. So this is going to be what we're doing for stamping on the inside of this one. And I'm going to bring in the green first, the green ink. And I'm going to bring in my sprig looking stamp. So shaded spruce right here in the corner. And I'm going to angle it just a little bit toward the middle of the card. So it's kind of coming in at an angle, and that is going to give me room to bring in the rich raspberry ink and this big flower stamp and put a little bit of rich raspberry on there. And then I can get this one over here off more toward the side. So as you can see, this one's more on the side, this one's more coming in, but that way we've got a little bit of green and a little bit of red because we want to have both colors in our card. And I'm just going to flip this over and grab my glue. Put some adhesive on the back of that and put my insert inside the card, centering that as best I can. I'm going to flip this over again and rub the back. I am the best person in the world to get ink all over my hands every time I'm stamping. I don't know how I manage, but I sure do. So I try to be really careful. They're stained, but they shouldn't be transferring ink right now. So I did a really good job today. I'm kind of proud of myself. I didn't smear extra ink all over my card. But here we go. Here is the outside of our card, and the inside of our card went together super quick, super easy. As always, they go together fast and easy, but fantastic results. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me today while we created this beautiful card with the Lovely You stamp set, and we created this in rich raspberry with some shaded spruce ink. If you'd like the recipe, the card dimensions that go into this card, head over to my blog, themainstamper.com, and I will share not only the recipe but step-by-step picture assembly as well. And if you need any of these products, you can pop over to my shop, juliemaxon.stampinup.net. Now keep in mind, you don't have to purchase the Lovely You stamp set as a bundle and get the punch. You can just get the stamp set, you can just get the punch. So browse the store. If there's anything you like there, you'll see it all on display. And as well, you can create the same card that I just made today using any of your stamps at home that have sentiments and small little stamps. So you can just use your own colors of cardstock, your own inks, your own stamps, and recreate this card with whatever you have on hand. You don't always have to go out and get the exact same thing to create something similar. So I'd like to show you that and inspire you, whether you want to purchase something new or you want to use what you have at hand. But regardless, get into those craft rooms, make a lovely card, and send it to someone lovely that you know. Now come back and see me next Monday. I'm going to come up with another stamp set, some more colors of ink, some different colors of cardstock, whole new card, whole new recipe. So I will see you guys next Monday. Have a great week. Bye.